Bitcoin to 50K? But how, Elio Trades? How will it get there? Why would you say that? Why would you think that? Down, and you're saying it's going to go up now? How? Well, look, guys, this prediction isn't coming from me. Well, not me. It's coming from him.
You've got a stunning Bitcoin forecast. Where do you see it going?
50,000 by the end of the year.
By the end of the year?
Correct.
Do you stand by 50K?
Absolutely.
Why? Why? Why?
Now you're right to wonder, who is this guy? Why are you quoting him? Why is he on CNBC? Why does she sound like a cat when she says, why? All of those are totally valid questions, and we'll get, I think, to most of them. Let's start with a big one. Who is that guy? That man is Arthur Hayes, co-founder and CEO of BitMex's, which allows for perpetuals leveraged futures trading for Bitcoin among many other altcoins. Arthur graduated Wharton School of Business, the best business school in the nation, before moving to Hong Kong to become a market maker, specializing in derivatives products like futures and also ETFs for Deutsche Bank as well as Citibank. He is a heavy hitter in the financial industry with a ton of experience in market making and derivative products. Now he runs the world's most liquid cryptocurrency exchange with the highest volume. Now, you might be thinking, how is it possible that a site named BitMex's, which maybe none of you have ever even heard of, and some of you may know very little about, controlling more volume than Coinbase, Binance, all of the biggest exchanges that you already know about in the world? And that's because it allows for a very unique type of trading. BitMex's allows for perpetual leveraged futures trading, which means that you can leverage your position and decide that you want to bet whether Bitcoin, for example, or a few other altcoins are going to grow or decrease in value. If you bet it's going to grow, it's called longing it. If you bet it's going to go down in value, it's called shorting it. But what makes this even more interesting is that they're perpetual, meaning you can open and close them whenever you want. So if you want to hold it for just a few hours or several days, you can do that. Unlike CBOE and CME, which have predefined periods, the reality is that this offers a ton more flexibility to traders. But it gets really interesting when you factor in their leverage. They allow for up to 100x leverage, which means that if Bitcoin moves just 1% in the direction you bet it would, that you'll actually be returned 100% of what you put down. So say I put $10 on a long, and Bitcoin moves up 1% in value. Well, that would mean that I would get 100% of whatever I put down. So I'd get $10 back. Now, conversely, if Bitcoin moves just 1% in the other direction, I would lose 100% of what I put down. I would get what they call liquidated or wrecked. You can kind of see BitMex's as the Vegas of cryptocurrency, allowing for people to really bet on what they think the future is going to hold. So without many coins mooning these days, when people are trying to make money, betting on short-term price action is a good way to start making cash if you're pretty confident in your technical analysis. It should come as no surprise that they've built a sizable market here, commanding almost $1.5 billion in daily volume. At times, they've come up close to $3 billion in daily volume. That's on par with the entire transactional volume of Bitcoin. Let me give you guys a few more data points before I explain just how important Arthur Hayes' opinion is. We know every time someone gets liquidated. It's publicly available knowledge. Simply scroll down BitMex's Rect and you can see in just the past 24 hours how much money they are liquidating or taking right away from people who have gambled and lost. Let's just look at this for a second. Within the last hour, we have a liquidation of $563,000. Just 8 hours ago, we have a liquidation of $2.5 million at 62.67, someone who was liquidated on a long. Just 9 hours ago, we have a liquidation of almost $5 million. Now, if you scroll back to the 29th, where we had our amazing pump day, we can see wreck after wreck after wreck, as it was an unsuspected move in price that drove a lot of liquidations. Here we have a $3.5 million wreck, followed closely by a $1.1 million wreck. There's a $770,000 wreck. Here we have a $4.5 million wreck, and a $6.8 million wreck, all within a few hours of each other. That's money that BitMex's is literally just taking and putting in their bank account. Now you're wondering, why is this so important? Well, it's so important because you can see in 24 hours, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you have hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're the one taking bets, you're playing house, taking bets on the short-term price action of Bitcoin and other coins, you better believe that they have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin on the 3 exchanges that they're using to create their average price for liquidations. What I'm trying to say is they're taking bets on the price of Bitcoin while quite clearly having the ability to push the price of Bitcoin in whichever direction they want. And that's why this guy's opinion on where Bitcoin is going is so very valuable. Now, before going into my conclusion, I want to add a little personal note about Arthur Hayes. I would describe Arthur Hayes' business as of dubious legal nature, even though it's housed in Hong Kong. The reality is, he was in no way trying to keep a low profile when he showed up to Consensus New York earlier this year. Some of you might remember that guy who rented all the Lamborghinis in New York just so he could show up and park them in front of Consensus. That was Arthur Hayes. This guy likes attention. Furthermore, Arthur Hayes has predicted not just once, but twice that Bitcoin is going to $50,000. Now let's hear directly from Arthur Hayes his rationale for that.
Well, I think that something that goes up to 20,000 in 1 year can have a correction down to around about 6,000. I think we could definitely find a bottom in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. But we're one positive regulatory decision away, maybe an ETF, approved by the SEC, to climbing through 20,000 and even to 50,000 by the end of the year.
The reason why I'm so bullish and confident in Arthur's predictions is not only because he makes a sound argument with ETFs, I wonder who else made that argument, but he also holds a unique power in the industry. He holds the ability to move the price of Bitcoin, and I believe he's going to want to be proven right. And because I know that he's making money whether the price goes up or down, and that he's looking forward to a skyrocket or a moonshot from Bitcoin within this calendar year, it makes me very bullish on not only his logical reasons for his prediction, but his unique influence in being able to shape that reality. For that reason, I think this ETF-fueled 50K Bitcoin theory proffered by Arthur Hayes is one that we should all be taking note of. Sadly, right now, BitMex trading, their futures market is not available to US citizens, so if you're in the US, you won't be able to use their site. If you enjoyed this video and you're not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, and don't be scared of that little bell notification, and that'll make you aware whenever we put out new content. My name's Elio Trades, you've been watching FUD TV, and I'll see you very, very soon on the next episode.